When we were here with Dr. Fairchild a year ago in March, we had the opportunity to have communion at St. John's burial site at the church we saw yesterday. They don't necessarily allow that, and so to be safe for Levent's benefit, we decided here would be a good place for us to share communion, especially on Sunday morning like this. So, um, Patty and I have some favorite things that we our habits, and so I'm going to share some things. But Patty's first going to open up with some of her predispositions.
I like to write. That's my catharsis. I don't have a particular day or time or subject that I'm going to write on. I just sit down at my computer and there I go, and out comes something. And it might be many pages long, it might be a paragraph. I wrote this several days ago, and it's entitled When the Night Meets the Day. I was up early this morning. The yellow-orange crescent moon still hung low in the eastern sky. I made myself a cup of matcha, grabbed a couple of blankets, and sat in my red Adirondack chair, sipping my matcha while snuggled in my blankets. It was chilly this morning. I just sat and sat. The pond lights were aglow as they gently lit the 2 water fountains in our backyard pond that we share with the other homeowners in our neighborhood. I observed the trees in our yard that were displaying their beauty by a few low-beam, pale white lights, all creating a feeling of serenity, calmness, comfort. Just me and the night sounds. I got up and made another cup of matcha and quickly went back to my chair and blankets as I didn't want to miss a sound or sight of the night meeting the day. Gradually, the crescent moon faded to a pale white, then it disappeared as the morning sky started lighting up with its reds, yellows, blues, and yellows, and whites. Beautiful. The night sounds gently faded away as the morning bird sang to me. It's time to go to bed now, night sounds, because the sun is ready to shine. Morning is my favorite time of day. Well, actually, I should say pre-dawn is my favorite time of day, when the night meets the day. I encourage all of us to find a time, maybe now, during the day when we can just sit and enjoy the beauty around us. Because we're walking on holy ground. And I don't know how any of us, I will speak for myself, I cannot go home different than I came. So as we enjoy the beauty around us, it all fades quickly, just like the crescent moon.
Probably, as I was sharing with somebody this morning, I'm not a preacher, I'm a teacher, and I'm a selfish teacher. The reason I study, the reason I put myself into teaching opportunities is it forces me to dig deep and to study, and I love to learn. And so obviously, that's one of the reasons why we're all here, is because as we experienced a week with Dr. Fairchild last year, we just knew those of you that are with us needed to be exposed to the same experience. And so we're so grateful that you all have made the time to be here with us. And so we wanted to share communion this morning. And one of my favorite teachings is church history. Because church history not only exposes us to the historical relevance of the gospel and what has happened during the time since Jesus' resurrection, but I always remind people we live in the church age, and the church age is such a beautiful place to be. It's such a comfortable place to be. You know, few of us have been threatened and martyred in our generation in the United States, although worldwide that's not the case. But I think the thing that's interesting is that during the church age, we have the revealed scripture, Genesis to Revelation, and we have the author of that Bible is always with us. It's the only book we'll ever read that where the author is always present. And I'm sure that you've experienced the same thing I have. I've read something for 15 times, and all of a sudden there's something new because God is revealing Himself to us. And so, as we share communion today, I want to talk about the relevance specifically that our Jewish brothers here understand much more than most of us as Americans. But as we go into church history, the fact that we have to really understand a lot of details of Judaism in order to fully understand the Jewish Messiah that we all worship. And so one of the things that fascinates me about the whole practice of communion is how it comes out of the Jewish tradition of the Passover Seder. And baptism comes out of the mikvah, and how so many things come out of our church experience comes out of the synagogue structure. One of the most fascinating periods of Jewish history, I believe, is the exile, because so many things were developed during the exile. The concept of scribes and elders and synagogue structure and all those kind of things that we experience in our churches today. But coming back to this idea of the Passover Seder, there's 4 cups of wine at the Passover Seder. And there's the cup of salvation. And it all goes back to a scripture, and that scripture is in Exodus chapter 6, where it says, verse 6, "Say therefore to the sons of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will deliver you from their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. Then I will take you for my people, and I will be your God, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God, who brought you out from under the burden of Egypt." So those 4 cups of wine relate to those promises of God from Exodus. And the first of those is called the cup of salvation. I will bring you out from underneath the burden of Egypt. The second is the cup of deliverance. I will rescue you from your bondage. The third, which is the cup that we enjoy at communion, is the cup of redemption. This is when Jesus says, I will redeem you with an outstretched arm. Mm-hmm. And then if you remember the scripture, what is it Jesus says? He says, drink from it, all of you, for this is the blood of my covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. But I say to you, I will not drink of this fruit of the vine from now until the day I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. So he's withholding the 4th cup and ending with the 3rd cup, which is what we enjoy when we share the communion. Matt, if you distribute the bread and the cup, we're going to take a pinch of bread, and we're going to share in the juice of the vine or the plant.